So here's the big question. How do you sell heavy-duty parts in a digital world? That's the question, and this is the place where you're going to find the answers. My name is Jamie Irvin, and we are live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to another edition of Jamie Irvin Live. Today is Thursday, September the 16th, 2021, and I am very happy to have you here today with all of our live presentations. By all means, get involved, comment, ask a question. Love to have you as part of this show. And this show is sponsored. This live broadcast is sponsored by the Heavy Duty Parts Report, our weekly podcast. Head over to heavydutypartsreport.com, and there you will be able to see all of our episodes. You can subscribe to the show, and that's where we interview heavy-duty parts specialists and industry experts to talk about how to save fleets money with high-quality parts, updated or new tools and technology that is going to help all of us to serve the trucking industry at a greater capacity. So today we're going to talk about using YouTube ads to sell heavy duty parts. Now, when we're trying to sell heavy duty parts in a digital world, one of the most important things that we need to do is to reach more people. The more people we can reach that are prospects of whatever product it is that we're trying to sell, the more likely we're going to have people visit our website, the more likely we're going to have conversions and be able to sell them parts with our digital sales channel. Now, YouTube is an interesting and very, very different kind of ad opportunity than what we talked about last week with Facebook. Now, Facebook is a highly targeted advertising product that allows us to target people by interest, by their demographics, the geography. And YouTube has a lot of that built into their ad product as well. Where Facebook people are there scrolling, YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world. And so when people start searching for specific things, they go to Google or they go to YouTube. And if you make sure that your video that you're using to promote whatever it is that you're selling, maybe it's not even to promote the specific product, but just to promote your brand, you can place that ad in a couple of different places. And depending on your overall strategy will depend on where you place the ads. So let's talk about some of the similarities of the YouTube advertising product to the Facebook advertising product. While both products allow you to select who sees the ad based on their demographics, so based on their age, their gender, based even on whether they're parents or not parents. In YouTube, you can also select geography. So you can put in countries or you can put in states or provinces. So like when I do my advertising on YouTube, I select Canada and the United States. When I do my ads, I select a specific demographic of people. Now, where Facebook, I think, has a more robust advertising product is on how specific you can drill down on people's interests and who they are. Facebook is amazing how deep you can go and just really narrow in on exactly who you want for, the type of people you want them to see your ads. YouTube has this, but it's a little more broad. So, for example, under the transportation category, you really only have two options: people who are interested in transportation modes and people who are car enthusiasts. Now, that's not an exact fit to our industry, but it at least they have a transportation category. And what I have found is that I found the ads that we have been running have been quite effective overall in reaching people who seem to really want to consume our content. Now, once you've made those selections around geography, demographics, interests, you've kind of going to get a sense of, depending on how many dollars you spend, how many people are you going to reach? But then you have another really critically important decision to make. So most of us who've used YouTube, we're familiar with starting a video and having an ad run, and after the first 5 seconds, you can skip it. Now, up until recently, the only videos that had those ads running at the beginning were videos where you had monetized your video. But YouTube changed the rules on that a while back in the US and just recently in Canada. So, for example, on the Heavy Duty Parts Report channel, none of my videos I have I have gotten involved in trying to monetize those videos. I have my own method of doing that, and so I'm not using YouTube's monetization product. Therefore, up until recently, no ads ran at the beginning of anybody watching my video. But they changed the rules on that. And now some of my videos, there is an ad that plays at the beginning, and I get no benefit for that at all. I am not part of the monetization product, and that monetization is going to someone else. So I think that's kind of muddied the water a little bit. But if you want your ad and you want to be an advertiser and have your ad show up in places like at the front of even one of my videos, then you can select that option. And so then your advertisement, your video will play at the beginning. Now, this kind of selection has a big impact on the type of video that you would promote there. That would be a commercial. That's a straight advertising commercial that is designed in the first 5 seconds to communicate exactly what your value proposition is, who your customer is, the problem you might solve, and why they might want to keep watching or click through and learn more. So when you select that option to have your video ad running in front of other people's content, you want to build that ad as an actual commercial. But there's a second option, and this is the option that I use, and that is to have your thumbnail placed in the list of videos on the right-hand column. So think about this from this perspective. My show, the Heavy Duty Parts Report, it's all about educating people about heavy duty parts, how to lower cost per mile. Unless I'm going to run an ad that specifically is just educating people about the show and wanting them to come visit the show, that might be a place I would put my commercial. But any one of my episodes that I do can be promoted in the second option, which is to have it show up in related searches. That's what Google calls it. Have your thumbnail and video show up in a related search. And since Google and YouTube are the two most used search engines in the world, YouTube coming in second only to Google itself, the thought that I have about that is if somebody searches in, let's say something about turbochargers. Now, we've got an episode coming up on Monday, September 27th, all about turbochargers and how to identify the cause of a turbocharger failure. So if when I go to promote that, I'm going to select that second option. I'm not going to run it as if it's a commercial, and I'm not going to run it in front of people's content. I'm going to get my video to show up in the related videos column when someone types in heavy duty turbocharger in the search box of YouTube. Now, my video may not rank as the top result for that search query because it's a brand new video, but it'll show up right beside others who have. So this is a really smart way of using some advertising dollars to expand your reach and get people to see your video and to watch it. And that's what I notice. I notice that using that second option really helps me to get more views, more people to my channel, more people subscribing to my channel, because perhaps the first result that YouTube serves up isn't a good fit, and they look over at the related videos and they see yours and it's a better fit and they select it. And so the algorithm isn't necessarily smart enough to really work for you. The algorithm is not even designed to really work for you. The algorithm on YouTube is designed to work for YouTube. And by placing your videos in the related video column and making sure that it shows up with those kinds of search criteria, then the person overrides the algorithm, right? The videos that are served up to them are not the ones they want. They look at the related videos and they see your great headline that's perfect for them, and they self-select and say, this is a video that's better for me, and they watch it. And then oftentimes they subscribe to the channel. So my YouTube channel is not huge right now. We started at the beginning of the year with 0. We've got, I think the last time I checked, 312 people have subscribed. But those are 312 people who are really, really interested in heavy duty parts. And of course, on our podcast and our email list, we have thousands of people subscribed. So for me, the YouTube side of it is really just a way to expand my reach and to just get in front of more people who perhaps are not as familiar with using podcast players, or for example are have not yet found my website or heard about me. And what's interesting is, despite the fact that I have pretty low subscriber numbers, my video views for, let's say, a given period, like an entire month, are actually quite strong. What I've noticed is that people are sometimes watching videos, but they're not necessarily always subscribing. And of course, you always want to encourage them to, but as long as they're seeing your message and then they're taking other action, then I think that that's a win. So I think with a Facebook ad, like we talked about last week, you could literally go paid ad right to your website, purchase a part, and have that conversion chain very direct. I think with the YouTube ad product, especially for heavy duty parts companies that are trying to sell parts, the videos that you're going to put out, perhaps they're educational. They might just bring more awareness about certain issues. They might cater to repair technicians or drivers themselves, and they might be a combination of what they call edutainment, which is education and entertainment. I don't see this as being as direct, meaning I don't see like we put the ad out and somebody buys something. Now, I guess if we're running the commercial at the beginning of other people's content, it's possible that, people are going to see that ad. They're going to like what they see in the first 5 seconds. They're going to watch another 5 seconds and maybe they'll click it, go through to our site, and they become a customer. So that is more of the direct route. But realistically, I don't know that how effective that's going to be unless you have an e-commerce platform that's very robust and you have the ability to deliver nationally very quickly. If you're more of a regional player, I think using that second option of having your content come up in related searches will benefit you in getting more people aware of what you offer the marketplace. And so there's a lot of decisions that need to be made there. And that's why I work with companies as a marketing consultant. So if you would like to work on your digital sales channel, on selling heavy duty parts in a digital world, and you'd like to get some help from me, why not just send me an email? Go to jamie@heavydutypartsreport.com and I will get back to you very quickly. We will set up a virtual meeting that we can do with a video conferencing call tool, or we can talk on the telephone if that's something that would be more convenient. And we'll talk about your situation specifically. And if there's an opportunity for me to get involved and help you with your business, then we can move ahead with working together. And I would really appreciate that opportunity. And I would look forward to being able to work with you and help you. Now, next week, I want to continue this conversation and we're going to talk about LinkedIn ads. So, next week, we're going to talk about LinkedIn ads. And I think that that's a whole other kind of advertising that needs to be done, and it has a completely different cost structure. I will conclude by saying Facebook is by far the cheapest. YouTube, I would say, is second, and LinkedIn's more expensive, but there's a reason it's more expensive, and that may be a reason why it's something you should consider. So I look forward to talking to you about that next week. Thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you next Thursday live, and don't forget to go over to heavydutypartsreport.com and check out the podcast. Bye-bye.